As you can see, my setup looks a little different. I have switched over. I'm going to be streaming primarily Underdog now. I'd always been kind of the DraftKings guy, at least on my own before I started streaming. That's what I always streamed. Several people reached out to me, just kind of like give some friendly advice that, hey, like, the people who watch best ball mostly want to see Underdog. So we're going to become an underdog, bro, as they say. We have a couple guests lined up for us this week. Part of the whole new look and everything is I switched the software that I was using for streaming. Nice, Mark. We switched the software. We went with StreamYard. I left OBS behind. Moved on to bigger and better things. Friend of the stream, Mark is definitely in here with us. Don't recognize any other names I know off the top of my head. We are rocking with the 5th pick. Mark is in the 9 spot. Try to keep the board right there for you guys. But anyways, that's part of why we switched up to StreamYard. It's way easier to just smoothly bring guests in. I tested it out today. You basically just send your little email out, bam, they pop right in. OBS was a pain in the butt for sure to try to even figure out how to possibly do it. And then I couldn't even really get it to look the way I wanted it to. So we upgraded. See who we want to rock with here in the 5 hole. I wouldn't mind Bijan. If the 4 spot takes him, then I'll probably go Lamb. Or Gibbs. But Bijan stayed, so we will take Bijan. Nothing wrong with a Bijan in the 5 spot start. We'll move it on along. Let's see what our Mark does in the 9 spot. Mark goes with Genty in the 9 hole. We have Who's Your Daddy in the 10 spot. We'll see what he picks. So yeah, if you missed the very beginning of it, we were going to do eliminators today. We sat around for about 17 minutes waiting on some of them to fill. They never filled. So we hopped out and we'll do some puppies instead. I'll go and change the thumbnail after it's all said and done. Tomorrow night, we'll see what we're drafting. If the puppy's still out there, I'd like to probably do some more puppies. But it's looking like we're going to have a guest on with us tomorrow night, doing at least one draft. We'll see if he hangs around for the second. Guy by the name of Hartman. He's a friend of the stream. He recently started streaming himself, and he's in a bunch of people's comment section. He's a real good supporter in the community. So we're going to bring him on as our first ever guest, knock out a couple drafts, try to take down some pots. Mark with the double RB start. Genty and A-Chan. Y'all know I'm in on A-Chan. A lot of the people that I've was in on in my last, few streams y'all been watching when I talk about them on DraftKings, it's still the same game pretty much that we're playing. A little bit, I think my strategy changes a little bit on Underdog. I'm definitely I'm definitely not as likely to just do three whatever QBs later in the draft because when I was drafting on DraftKings, I talked about all the time how I felt like quarterback points make up less of your team's total score on DraftKings. So I'm okay just taking three whatever QBs. I'm not that big on Bucky. I know y'all are wide receiver thirsty over here on Underdog, so we better go get us a receiver. We'll get Mr. Ladd. What's up, Hartman? I was just talking about how you're going to be the first ever guest on the show tomorrow. The guy that's in this draft with me right now, Mark Cox in the 9 hole. He he's a good buddy of mine. He helped me test everything out earlier today. It was pretty smooth bringing him in and everything, so we should be good to go for tomorrow. Hopefully these puppies stick around. We were going to draft some eliminators tonight, but we sat around waiting like 17 minutes or so and couldn't get them to fill. And the stream was already enough dead air time waiting on it to fill up. So we just got out of that and hopped in this puppy. I'm in the 5 hole. I started Bijan and Ladd. Mark's drafting with us in the 9 hole. He went with the double RB start. I don't recognize any other names in here off the top of my head, but you guys probably know the Underdog crowd better than me. Yes, it is so much easier, so much more user friendly. It is definitely worth the investment, in my opinion, already. I figured out how to do everything in about 3 hours that I had been trying to do for 3 days with OBS and couldn't figure it out, couldn't get it to work. It's nice, you know. We'll play around more with some of the features as we go, but we got the basics down and out the way today so we could get off and running. I'll call the teams out to y'all in a minute, see what everybody's working with. Let's get through this next pick here. We're going to get somebody we like. We are pretty high on Wilson and Hill this year. I'm not afraid of him. I don't think Hill is going to go crazy. I can see Miami just being good again, you know. Sometimes in best ball, we fall too much into the recency bias, I think. 2 years ago, Miami was a really good explosive offense. But because I like Fields a little bit better than Tua, I'm going to go ahead and take Wilson. But that doesn't mean I'm out on Hill. Like I said, 2 years ago, Miami was a really explosive offense. And just because last year they had a down year, Waddle went to the sideline dang near every quarter of every game, it seemed like. Hill had a down year, kind of was crazy at times, it seemed like. Tua couldn't stay on the field, got concussions. But hey, you know, if Tua stays healthy, Achan's doing his thing, Hill somewhat keeps his head on right, and Waddle just is the Waddle he always was before last year when he never had any real major injuries. It was just nagging stuff that sent him to the sideline in the second and had him kind of hobbled but playing the rest of the game, it seemed like. Jonnu came on though for him. If you know he is still a good option for him, I could definitely see that offense being a lot closer to what they were 2 years ago versus what they were last year. Defense still isn't going to be great, so they're going to have to be in some shootouts. I'm in on them. I've been drafting Achan a lot. I draft Hill a lot. I think Waddle's undervalued. I draft him a lot. And Mark with the RBQB start. We'll see if he can catch up enough at receiver to land the plane, as they say. Also, if you missed it at the beginning, part of the whole, guess you can call it a little rebranding. There's a new look. There's some new colors out there on the screen and stuff. We are moving away from the nightly DraftKings streams, and we have officially became a best ball bro with Underdog. So from this point on, sorry, there wasn't many, but there was one or two guys who I know tuned in just for the DraftKings stuff. But again, several people reached out to me and just kind of said, "Hey, man, like, we've been doing this a while. I highly recommend going for Underdog." And I'm, really grateful for their advice. One of them was Best Ball Guy. I'm sure y'all know his channel. I was kind of DMing with him on Twitter about some stuff, and he was super, super helpful. I was very appreciative because his channel is not necessarily small. He's not a Pete Overzet of the world, but his channel is not small by any means. And he was more than willing to, give me some advice and answer a few little questions I had and stuff. So big shout out to him. Go check out some of his stuff if you haven't already. But him and a couple others recommended it. We thought about it honestly all day yesterday. And we just decided that moving forward, this is something that we want to do. Obviously, if I'm going to be streaming, talking ball, I would like, to try to get the viewers and stuff too. So I have more people to talk with, all that good stuff. So we made the switch. Where are we at? 44 here. Got to pick somebody. I'm going to go with, don't really want to, sure, why not? Let's go Jaden. Let's get us a Jaden share. We just talked about, I think, how my strategy is going to differ mostly from DraftKings to Underdog is because of the QB scoring. I am much more likely in DraftKings to really, really push those quarterbacks, and I'm not afraid to take what I call, the growth stacks and take three just, really, those are your three quarterbacks. I have a lot of those on DraftKings, but then I love my wide receiver room. I love my running back room. Normally have me a decent tight end. I don't think that's how I want to play it over here on DraftKings, though. I mean, over here on Underdog. We'll see. My strategy will be it'll be the same as far as like, I do tend to kind of still probably take what the room gives me. For the most part in the early rounds, I want to take the best player who I feel like kind of fits my team nicely. Let's see, I can change this over here. Is it back to us yet? Not quite. I'm going to leave it on the players list since it's almost to me, and I'm trying to pull something up on one of my other computers real quick. That, and it's to us. And we like JMO a lot, so we're going to take JMO here. That's part of why I did I'm okay taking Jaden unstacked. He's one of the QBs I feel like it's okay with. One thing I've been doing on DraftKings with him if he's unstacked is, and we'll see, maybe I'll do it on here in the 18th round or something, is throw old Ben Sinnott on there. Sinnott, however you say his last name. Everybody wanted to draft him higher than he should last year, and last year I was out on him for the most part. And yes, Zach Ertz is there, but at some point Zach Ertz's age is going to catch up with him. And so I think he could be a sneaky last round, third tight end on a Jaden team. That could come out to be a low-owned piece later in the year that pans out for you really nicely. Yeah, nothing wrong with taking the best player available. See what we got going on here. Mark in the 9 spot with the triple RB. Genty, Chan. He went Allen, Moore, and Walker. The 12 hole, we had Amon, Nico, Evans, Tet. Took his first running back, Chuba. We are over in the 5 hole. We started Bijan, Ladd, Garrett Wilson, Jaden, and J-Mo. Getting us some firepower to go with our anchor RB and Bijan. We'll see what Mark grabs here. He grabs Olave, another guy that I think is pretty undervalued. And I'm not super in on Debo, but on a Jaden team, that's about the only time I'll probably draft him. I don't think he'll ever be the Debo that he was early in his San Francisco career. But hey, we got Jaden. It's at ADP. We didn't really we like Jennings, but we have a lot of Jennings over on DraftKings. So we'll go with Debo. Pair him up with Jaden. Now, if there's a better value in the last round of the draft and taking a flyer on Ben Sinnott, we don't have to go that route. Let's see what the 1 hole's doing over here. I always like to look at the 1 hole and see. They did it. They went with the Chase, Higgins, Marvin Harrison, Joe Burrow. About one of the chalkiest stacks you can get. Burrow in the 5th, too. Burrow started to swing all the way around to the 6th round sometimes. I know on Underdog, you can push them all the way till the 6th, especially if you have Higgins and Chase. Let's see, Atlanta, Rams, Washington, Dallas. Start looking what we want to do here. We're not going to go tight end yet. I don't like Laporta. We could use another running back. But since we have Bijan, we're okay playing it later if we have to. Maybe could go with Pearsall. I like Hawkinson. I'm surprised Laporta is still out there. I was just about to say, nobody wanted to take Laporta. I think we want to go. Let's go with Jacoby Myers. I haven't drafted much Jacoby Myers this year. I know they got a really tough matchup week 15 and 16. Who is it? Yeah, they play at Philly and at Houston 15 and 16. But if we can sneak them through to the finals, they have that game with the Giants. We don't necessarily have it stacked. But, you know, if a 7th round receiver helps you get there. Mark says he wanted Hawkinson, and he got Hawkinson. I like Hawkinson too. Y'all know how I feel about it. I've been staying away from Bowers in that 2nd round. Been staying away from Bowers in the 2nd round. McBride in the 3rd round, and I've been purposely then trying to get Kittle, and even more so Hawkinson, because I feel like those are guys that, you know, in a 1-game playoff situation in the fantasy playoffs, they can definitely give you the type of scoring that you're looking for, that can hang in there with the 2 big dogs, possibly even outscore them in a 1-game situation. And Mark is on the clock again after taking Hockenson. We'll see what he swings around and picks. And he went with Ayuk. And as it moves closer to us here, we will jump on over. Start seeing what we want to do. Could use a running back. Not any quarterbacks that really work with us. We're not really in on Kupp this year. Probably go late tight end now since Swift just went. That's one guy we were looking at. You know what? Y'all know how I feel about team stacking. So we're going to go with Robinson on this team. You know, the games Jaden doesn't go off. Maybe it's because Robinson had 2 rushing touchdowns. On underdog, I think I do lean. I do like guys a little more who are, you know, your goal line backs. Whereas on DraftKings, I do look a little more for sure. Touchdowns are nice on DraftKings too, but with it being a full point PPR, I definitely seem to target guys who I know catch passes for their teams. Mark says he got sniped on Shakir. You could always throw Coleman on there. This is a pretty cool feature in Streamlabs too. I have my little scroll at the bottom there that tells y'all about my nightly drafts. And then bam, we can switch it up. Give you guys a different message. I know. Like a kid on Christmas with some new presents. Playing around with all the little functions. Can't help myself. Just realized we didn't put it back on the board after our last pick. Sorry about that. But since it's getting kind of close to us here, we're going to go ahead and leave it. I believe we took Wilson over Hill. So we're probably going to go ahead. Let's see. You guys, you got Allen. 4 of the guys in between me and the time it gets back to me do need a quarterback still. There's no just screaming values that I really like on the board. So we're going to go ahead and grab Fields. You know, 2 rushing quarterbacks who give us floors and up with their rushing and upside at the same time. We got both of them stacked up. We have Garrett, Wilson, we have Debo. Could do worse. Somebody reached on Coleman, he said. There's always old Kincaid as a second tight end. You guys tune in tomorrow, though. Like we said earlier, we're going to have Hartman on here. I think his channel is Hartman Fantasy Football or something like that. Be on the same time. The time staying the same. We have the new look. We moved over to Underdog where all the big boys play. But the time will still be 9:45 every night. We'll still be on Monday through Friday, most Sundays. We are rocking with 2250 still. Probably be looking to just mix and match some tight ends later in the draft, I think, is how we're going to play this one. We'll probably hop in another puppy after this one, too. These puppies are nice. I kind of like these puppy contests the more I looked into them. I see why you guys are so crazy for them. I mean, 2 of 12 out of the first round, 1 of 10 out of the second round, 1 of 10 out of the third round. If you make it to the finals, I think we looked it up the other day, it's like 750 or something like that in the finals for min cash, playing for 100K up top. Nothing wrong with that. Nice little tournament for $5. I think we have Bijan, we have Robinson, we have the two Robinson bros. I'm not really in on Bateman when I don't have Lamar. They just took Tracy, who I was kind of looking at and thinking about. We'll go with Charbonnet. Charbonnet is one of those backup running backs you guys know I like. Get some more leverage on Mark since he has Walker. If Walker gets hurt, insert Charbonnet. Not that we're playing against Mark. We just want to be one of the two to make it out into the playoffs and then see what happens from there. But I do like Charbonnet. Wanted to get another running back there. We like our 5 receivers. I mean, we went after Bijan, we went Ladd, Garrett Wilson, J-Mo, Debo, and Jacoby. Not the strongest group ever, but definitely serviceable. We got our 2 quarterbacks locked up. Probably just stick with those 2. I mean, we took Daniels pretty high. Anytime I take like a Daniels, Hurts, Lamar, Josh, especially on underdog, 18 picks, almost always I will say that probably be a 2 wide receiver, a 2 quarterback team. Excuse me. Where is my head at today? Too much technical stuff I was doing earlier, I guess. Got my brain kind of frazzled. We might hop back in the receiver pod right here, though. Don't really like these running backs. We could grab our first tight end. Let's see who's on the board at tight end. We could go Njoku. I'm not totally out on him. We can go Kirk. If he doesn't go in front of me, I think we'll take Kirk as a 6th receiver. Houston plays the Chargers. Week 17. We won't have either quarterback, but we got a little mini stack, 2 slot guys going at it. Kirk and Ladd moving the chains for their teams. Hopefully both of them catch a touchdown. Let's see what Mark did. He had the running back heavy start. He went Genty, Achane, Allen, Moore, and Kenneth Walker. And he's trying to catch up at receiver. He has Olave, he has Ayuk, he has Shaheed. Shaheed's a good pick. I like Shaheed. The one thing when I watch Shook's tape, the rookie quarterback, if he ends up getting that job, the thing I liked most about the tape that I've watched on him this year is he throws a really nice little deep ball. He's got good touch on it. Seems like he really knows how to lay it in there, the different situations, whether it's over the top and letting the guy run to it, or even kind of deeper balls. It's like a back shoulder type throw. He's got some nice touch to his passes. We are moving through the 11th round. working through this puppy. We wanted to draft some eliminators tonight. Sat around forever waiting. The rooms wouldn't fill up. So we hopped out of the eliminator and we got into some puppies. We are rocking with the 5-hole, and we started Bijan Ladd, Garrett Wilson. Then went Jade and J-Mo. Paired up Daniels with Debo. Took Jacoby Myers. Took Brian Robinson. Got Justin Fields for the Jet stack. Charbonnet, and we took Kirk because it's a little mini stack of Week 17 with our Ladd pick from earlier. Nothing wrong with that. We're working it out. See what we want to start doing here. Eventually, we got to get us a tight end. We don't really need another quarterback. We're just sticking with 2. I like Ferguson. We could go Ferguson here. Kind of right at ADP. I'm not super big on Spears, and we got our anchor running back, so we could probably leave this at 4 or 5 running backs tops. I think we're going to grab Ferguson. Ferguson or Goddard. Let's see. Where's Dallas at on my little cheat sheet? Yeah, Dallas plays Washington Week 17. That's right. How could I forget? I know. Shame on me. I don't have them all memorized. I've been really busy the last week. But I got my cheat sheet up, though. And we'll take the Week 17 stack. I like me some Week 17 stacks. If you've heard any of my other stuff, I'm trying to stay away from the super chalky ones. Like our 1-hole over here. Let's go see how he finished the rest of his team. Our 1-hole did the chalk of chalk. Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, Marvin Harrison, Joe Burrow in the 5th. Joe Mixon, Montgomery, Aaron Jones. Trey Harris as a receiver. Old man Kelsey, Marvin Mims, now Herbert as a second QB. But anyways, I'm trying to stay away from that one, or putting McBride with Chase. I'm trying to stay away from the Neighbors, Bowers. I don't know. I'll take my chances on the not super chalky stacks. Or staying away from the super chalky stacks, I guess I should say. Flipping around to the 13th round. The 1-hole took Ray Davis, grabbed Goddard. That is a Week 17 stack itself. And as it gets a little closer to us here, we'll see who we're going to grab. We are going to go. I wanted Bigsby there, but somebody took him. Do we want to go with another tight end? It's a little bit of a reach. We're going to go ahead and grab Braylon Allen. I like him. We need some more running backs. Didn't like anything else on the board. That gives us our 4th running back. We'll grab maybe one more at some point. I really wanted Bigsby there, but he went to pick right before me. We'll settle for Allen. as we work through the 13th round. This one's about to be coming down the final stretch. We'll see how we close out this team. Eventually, we might start trying some 20-second clocks on stream, see if we can't fly through it for you guys. I'm still a little new to the streaming thing, so we're going to stick with 30-second clocks for now. I don't want to burn any of my picks by getting autoed because I'm talking and I didn't realize I was on the clock or ran out of time because I'm not really used to the 20-second clocks yet. It is what it is, though. We shall get used to them. They are nice. I did a couple of them off of stream. It does make the drafts fly through pretty quickly. Let's go back over here. Go back over here. Bam, let's switch that. Goal is still the same. We would like to get 50 by the end of May. We got about a week of streaming left to do so. You guys help me out. Sub to the channel if you want to see me drafting every night. Come hang out with us. You know, you don't have nothing else to do. You're winding your evening down, getting ready for bed. Throw on some Underdog on your phone. Watch a few drafts. Maybe even hop in and do one with us. I'm going to grab... I normally would go with Freiermuth here, but since we have Jaden, we're going to actually hope that old man Ertz can stay healthy. Go ahead and double Jaden up. We like Freiermuth better overall, but the stacks are always nice. That gives us a second tight end. Team so far is looking like Jaden and Fields. Those will be the two we stick with. We have Bijan, we have Brian Robinson, Zach Charbonnet, Braylon Allen at running back, Ladd, Garrett Wilson, J-Mo, Debo, Jacoby Myers, and Kirk at receiver. Ferguson and Ertz are our tight ends. We have a few more picks to work with. We'll see how we put them to use. As it comes around to us in the 15, we're sitting with the 2-4-6-2. And whether it's DraftKings or whether it's over here, we do like Keenan Allen a lot. It's probably who we're going to go with. Yeah, because we got other guys at running back we can grab on the next one. Finish it off with probably a third tight end. We'll add Keenan Allen to the receiver room. I like adding Keenan on Fields teams because I feel like that would be a destination that I could see him going. I mean, the Jets really have nothing at wide receiver 2. You know, I think technically they still have Lazard on the roster. They have the guy they drafted last year, Corley, who didn't really do much last year. He's more of a, I think, gadget guy, or at least last year he didn't seem to really be even that. We'll see. Maybe he can do something for him this year, but I could definitely see Keenan Allen going to the Jets. Simply because I guess it's going to boil down to, does he want to go somewhere where he can have really good production, get a lot of targets, maybe get one more really good contract or one more really good payday the year after? Or is he more so just chasing a ring? If he's chasing a ring, it probably won't be the Jets. But if he's like wanting to go somewhere where he can get a lot of targets and be involved a lot, the Jets seem like a good fit to me. And as we come through the 16th round here, Mark took Shipley. That's the guy we were debating on. We were either going to go with Keenan Allen or Will Shipley at our last pick in the 15th. We decided, since it's a Bijan team and we know we got that anchor locked down and we're just trying to piece together the other running back spot most weeks, we decided to go ahead and take Keenan Allen. Keenan's a guy that I think will sign somewhere, and when he does sign somewhere, he'll be a usable player every week. Whereas Will Shipley might give you some usable weeks here and there, but you're really drafting him because if Barkley gets hurt, then he has tremendous upside for you and gives you essentially a starting running back in the late rounds on a team that likes to run the ball a lot. We could use another tight end, but there's nothing really we like on the board right now at tight end. So we'll wait a little while longer. We're going to grab one more receiver here. And I'm going to go with Slayton, because he's still going to be out there running routes. Quarterback play, no matter who it is, Wilson or if they move on to Dart, will be better than what they had last year at any point. Slayton's still the number 2. It gives us a little week 17 correlation with Jacoby Myers. You know, while everybody else is on the Neighbors Bowers, maybe we get lucky in week 17 and it's Myers and Slayton that you need. It could happen. That's how we're drawing it up. And we're flipping around to the 17. We have 2 more picks to play with. One of them will be a running back. One of them we're pretty sure will be a tight end. We'll just kind of see what the board gives us. Green Bay. I think because there's other guys we can mix in at running back if we have to. 10, 14. What's our bye weeks? 10 and 12. We're going to go Ja'Tavion Sanders. I like him. I'm not a bye week bro, but it is nice now to have 3 tight ends who I'm somewhat in on. Well, Ertz I'm not really that in on, but we just drafted him because we have Daniels. But all 3 of my tight ends at least have different bye weeks. So every week I'll have 2 to 3 tight ends who could potentially give me a score. That's all we're looking for with this team. We didn't take our Kittles. We didn't take our Hawkinsons. We're just looking to piece something together. Mark goes with my late round Magic Tyler Shook as a third QB. He's got him paired up with Rashid Shaheed. I like Shaheed. This one's winding down. We're flipping into the 18th. Sorry there, Mark. I just saw your message a little late. Me personally, the way I play it, there's nothing wrong with it. I like Shook whenever I have Shaheed. I talked about it earlier how the tape that I've watched on him, he does have a nice looking deep ball. They kind of probably already know what Rattler is. I mean, if not the start of the year, at some point he's going to be in there. Me personally, I talked about it earlier though. Like if I have Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, Jaden Daniels, or Hurts, especially on underdog where we only have the 18 picks, I am more than likely always going to just stick with two QBs. You know, like personally, I would have just left it with Brock since you had him, Brock and Josh. That's all you need. That was plenty. Me personally, I'm not saying it's a bad pick. Some people will take three QBs with Josh Allen or Lamar. That's just me personally, though. One thing that so I read this article a couple weeks ago, and it was from a guy I like to follow a lot. Let me make my last pick here, and I'll tell you guys the story before we end the stream. You know who I'm gonna throw on here? Miles Sanders, probably, because we don't know who the Cowboys running back is going to be. And it could very well be Miles Sanders, so why not throw him on there? But anyways, Mark said I didn't really want Brock, but I didn't see anybody else I wanted at that point. You could reach a little bit, get the guy you like. But a guy named Ches Liam, he's won 3 different major best ball tournaments. Most people know him, who he is, and everything, especially if you watch a lot of streams and stuff. He broke down 2 teams that he had make the finals last year in Best Ball Mania. He didn't win it last year, but he had 2 that made the finals. And both of those teams, if you did the math on how much he got into the playoffs by, essentially both of the, if not both of the teams, one of the teams for sure was like a team where he had a stud elite QB, and then he had, just a weaker average QB as his backup, and it was just a 2 QB team. And basically, long story short, he did the math, and like essentially that could have been a 1 QB team. Like even on his elite QB's bye week, he probably would have had enough points to still make it into the playoffs because his elite QB hit his lineup every week over the other QB. The only week that the other QB even helped was on his elite QB's bye week. I don't know. It was a pretty interesting little breakdown and just kind of makes me, that's one thing that kind of makes me, I already did, but it's one thing that kind of makes me even more so. If I have an elite QB, just want to stick with 2. I did it here with Fields and Daniels. We'll recap it real quick. We went with Jaden and Fields at the QB. We have Bijan, Brian Robinson, Zach Charbonnet, Braylon Allen, and Miles Sanders because he could be the Dallas running back. We never know. Wide receiver room is Ladd, Garrett Wilson, J-Mo, Debo, Jacoby, Christian Kirk, Keenan Allen, Darius Slayton. Tight end room is pieced together with Jake Ferguson, Zach Ertz, because we had Daniels, and Jatavion Sanders to round out the room. We will hop over and call Mark's team out since he was in the draft with us and on stream. And he has a QB room of Josh Allen, Brock Purdy, Tyler Shook. Running backs, he has his staple at the top with Genty, Achane, Walker, Ramondre, and Shipley. Receiver room pieced together with DJ Moore, Olave, Ayuk, Shaheed, Quentin Johnson, deep ball specialist, Joshua Palmer to go with Allen, Jalen Coker, and Mike Williams. Tight end room is Kincaid and Hawkinson. Got a nice little double stack there with Allen. Double stack that maybe it won't be that highly owned since he got sniped on Shakir and Coleman. Could very, very easily work out. Anyways, guys, I think I'm gonna call it a night tonight. I have some more technical stuff I need to get worked out. Need to go change the thumbnail because we didn't do an eliminator after all. Mark says that was a nice squad. I was a little in and out tonight. Yeah, thank you, Hartman. I appreciate it. We'll talk to you later. If y'all missed it earlier, Hartman's going to be on stream with us tomorrow. We'll see if the puppy contest is still around or if they already drop a new one if it's closed. If not, we'll find something fun to draft. Anyways, it's JT. Hope you guys like the new setup and everything. Talk to you later. See you tomorrow night.